This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at SIGGRAPH 2014. I'm at the Intel exhibit. To my immediate right is Carl Schissler, PhD student at the University of North Carolina. Very exciting research. Carl, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Now, let me open up with a question. What do you have on display here?
So what we have on display here is basically the Oculus Tuscany demo. And what we've done is we've added our sound propagation and simulation technology to that so you could get more realistic sound.
So why don't we talk about a normal gaming situation and then what you've done here?
Okay, so in a typical game, what they're going to do is they're going to have pre-computed, predetermined reverb for each room. And the other thing that they do in games is, let's say a sound source is on the other side of a wall. So a game, what they would do is trace a ray from the listener to the source, and if that ray intersects like a wall in between, they will apply some fixed amount of attenuation to that signal. So they would reduce it maybe by 50% or something like that. And the problem with that is that it's not very physically based, and it doesn't really correspond to what you would hear in reality.
So you could, let's say you're walking in a room filled with brick wall, and you move into a room filled with plaster wall. What I'm hearing with a traditional game is the sound dynamics aren't necessarily accurate. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, so what has to happen is an artist goes in and says, I want this room to have a longer reverb time or a shorter reverb time, but it's really not accurate at all because really you have to take into account the material properties of the room, like what the surfaces are made of, as well as the size and shape of the environment.
So what have you done?
So our work is basically on ray tracing for sound propagation. And what we do is we basically take each sound source in the scene and we trace rays in all directions for all those sources. And those rays bounce around the environment, and depending on which rays intersect the listener, that determines what sound that you actually hear.
It almost sounds like a sonar. Is that a fair comparison?
Well, I mean, sonar is sound, but
I'm thinking of the sound going in one direction and bouncing back, and based on what's coming back, you have information to work with.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like that, but we're not really doing any analysis on what's coming back. What we're doing is it's more like global illumination for visual rendering. So in global illumination, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get all of the sound or all of the light that is scattered within an environment, and which may undergo multiple bounces before it reaches the intended surface. So for our stuff, it's essentially the same sort of problem, where we're trying to trace rays and reflect them through the scene and bounce them around. But we also have to handle wave effects as well that are prevalent with sound.
So for gamers like me, who would be, and by the way, I tried the experience, very impressive stuff. How would the experience be different for me using your technology versus what is readily available?
So our technology is basically going to give you a sense that you're actually in that space. So you're going to hear reflections off of walls nearby, and a lot of it is perceptual as well. So like you may not even perceive it consciously, but your brain has its own kind of audio analysis tool that it uses to locate you within an environment.
Now, I recognize you're a PhD student. This strikes me as an academic effort, but obviously Intel's taken notice. Is there any talk of having this commercialized?
Not that I know of at this point, but we'll see what happens in the future.
You never know, right? Well, congratulations. Very exciting. Very impressive to actually listen to and experience Tuscany in this way, and hopefully there's some bright things to come from this. Thank you for joining us, Carl.
All right, thank you for having me.
This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at SIGGRAPH 2014. We will, of course, be back with more. Thank you for watching.